Hi guys, and welcome to the latest video. Now this is a little bit different to some of the other videos I've made in the past, but recently I came across a really cool RC helicopter from a boot sale, which I paid £80 for the helicopter. It's an Align T-Rex 450, and for that £80 I got the helicopter, got the case, the canopy, all the bits and pieces, and a really cool DX7S transmitter. Now, I'm not someone that knows about RC helicopters, so I'm sure I'm going to make plenty of mistakes. There's plenty of crashes and you know, like trials to come. However, I'm not a complete moron when it comes to messing around with these kinds of like electronics, I guess. And when something doesn't work, it just doesn't work. Now, unfortunately, this Align T-Rex 450 has on it, as standard, the Align 3GX MRS Flybarless system. Now, I've seen other people mention this, that they've had the same issue, and some people have managed to get it fixed, some haven't. I myself have had a nightmare just trying to bind the transmitter with the Flybarless system. That's it, just trying to bind it. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Next time you go to switch on the Heli, it just won't, the Flybarless system just won't go into its boot sequence. Very, very frustrating. And I'm going to show you exactly how Align tell you to bind this Flybarless system to your transmitter, so to the Spektrum. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the way they talk about it, how they say to do it, and I'll show you how it's meant to work and it won't. Now, what you need to do is, with this, because it's a Spektrum, transmitter, I've got a satellite there, Spektrum satellite, going into the 3GX MRS. Now, in order to bind this to my Spektrum DX7S, what I need to do is take a bind plug. So here's my bind plug, and that goes into the throttle. That goes into the throttle port on the 3GX MRS. Then you take the throttle out and stick it into the rudder port of the 3GX MRS, and you leave the rudder wires just dangling there. You can see everything else is plugged in, that's fine. So now I've got the throttle going into the rudder port, and then the bind plug into the throttle port. So that's how you're meant to do it. Then what you're meant to do, now this can be a little bit awkward, but it's not that difficult, is you're meant to press the set button, which is on the 3GX MRS. You can just see it through the bottom there. It's going to be difficult for you to see, actually. It's going to be difficult there. But anyway, there's a set button, a button which says set. So you press that down, and at the same time as pressing that down, you attach power. So I'm just going to quickly put the battery. I've got my LiPo battery here ready to go. Plug it in, and so far so good, because this is what's meant to happen. You can see that my satellite is flashing. Ooh. You can see that that's just flashing away, you know, to say that it's waiting to be bound. And on the bottom of the 3GX MRS, you've got the red bind light. Now, this is the bit where it should be quite simple, but it never is. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do this with one item in one hand and one in the other, but I don't think I'll be able to try. But anyway, here's the DX7S. Now, what you're meant to do is you're meant to press the bind button, which is located at the top of the transmitter there. You're meant to press that, and whilst pressing it, I'll show you. Let me just put this helicopter down. So the helicopter's just to my right there, flashing away. Okay, so you press the bind button, and then you press the power button, and then as soon as it says binding, you let go, and then you can see it's now saying DSMX 22 milliseconds, and currently, there you go. So it's there. It's fine. It's saying 22 milliseconds DSMX, and that's now connected. And so far everything looks great, because if you look on the Heli, you can see the satellite now has a solid light. Now at this point, what's meant to happen, so it's now bound, the satellite is now bound to my transmitter. That's worked. Now at this point in the instructions, you're meant to pull out the bind plug, and when you do that, the Flybarless system should kick in, and when it kicks in, those lights are meant to go green, and the swash plate should move up and down a couple of times. But as you can see, I remove the plug, and it's still stuck on red. It hasn't gone green to say that it's bound. There is no movement to the swash plate. A quick tip that I've seen from other people and is worthwhile doing is unplugging the motor from the ESC. That way you've got no worries about this spinning up and cutting your face open. But there you go, it's not working. So you can see that the DX7S satellite is still lit solidly. You can see that it's got its solid light, so that's connected. And the cool thing is, if I switch off my transmitter, oh, hold on, this is a bit difficult. If I switch off the transmitter, there you go, the DX7S satellite switches off. So it's saying it's not receiving a signal. Now this would be normally dangerous if I had everything plugged in, because you never know, this could spin out of control, but it doesn't look like it. Switch it back on, and the satellite's back on as well. But as you can see, even though the satellite is receiving some kind of a signal from the transmitter, that's all that's happening. I'm not actually, the actual Flybarless unit is not doing anything. It's not going into the boot up mode that it should. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if it can't even bind properly, I don't have very much confidence in it doing its other jobs. Now, I'm sure lots of people are using it very successfully, and often it's only when things go wrong that people like myself take to the internet to make themselves heard. But I'm not very confident with this unit. A lot of other people have reported the same issue, bearing in mind what I just said about people complaining when things go wrong, and I'm sure there's lots of people using it with no problems. But I would love to hear any advice. I've tried lots of different things. So some people have said just try to bind it and it's worked in DSM2 mode. I've tried 11 milliseconds and 22 milliseconds when it comes to the frame rate. Whatever I've done hasn't worked. And then randomly sometimes it will work, it will bind, but then the next time you go to switch on and off, it just doesn't. Now every time, once it's bound, every time you switch on the Heli and the transmitter, it should just connect. But when you can't even do that basic thing, then obviously everything else is just futile. Anyway guys, I just wanted to have a little rant and a moan about the Align 3GX MRS Flybarless system, because I think it's totally rubbish. And I would not recommend, even with my novice level of experience, and I am novice, I know bugger all about this stuff, but I know enough that should just work. It's a very basic thing. It's as infuriating as, say, if you had an Xbox One and every time you went to switch it on with your Xbox One controller and the controller just wouldn't sync up wirelessly with the Xbox One. You just expect that to work as a basic, as a given. I expect this to be able to bind consistently with my transmitter, and it just doesn't. Anyway guys, enough of the moan. I hope you found this video interesting at the very least. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Any comments and suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.